Hello again, everybody. It's time for more crafty cooking. We're in the kitchen again, and I know the lighting probably stinks, but that's because you're actually in the cabinet sitting on a Tupperware container. Work with what you got, right? I'm doing a simple pork dish, which I've never done on the stovetop before. It's kind of hot. I could turn the oven on because we do have air conditioning, but I'm going to try it this way and see what happens. I'm using 4 of these, I don't know, I guess they're pork chops. So here you go. 4 of those. And I'm using these adorable little apples. Are these things cute or what? I'm going to start with 3 of them, but I may go to 4, I don't know, probably just the 3. And a container of applesauce. I would probably use 2, maybe 3, but well, ingredients disappear in this house. So this is all I've got left. This is what I'm going to work with. So you're going to experiment with me and we'll see what happens. What I've done so far is take my pork chops, hope you can hear them sizzling. They're just browning with about 2, I don't know, teaspoons, tablespoons of olive oil. I just take the olive oil and give it a sprinkle over the pan. So they're browning. You don't want to brown them on both sides. And with my little container of the applesauce, I just stick it in a mug, and I put 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Now, if you're diabetic, you're worrying about the sugar content, I think, I'm not sure, but I think brown sugar is lower on the glycemic index, but there's actually a mix out now, a Splenda mix. I don't know what to do with it. I have some, but I haven't opened it yet. And if your brown sugar is hard as a rock like mine, don't worry about it. It'll all cook down in the pan. And I also have some ground cinnamon. I love that smell. I'm going to give it about 10 shakes. I'm going to mix it all up. We're going to use this later. And while the other side is browning, I'm going to peel and slice the apple. You can leave the skin on if you like, but if you're, if you don't like to chew it, or if you're cooking for someone who has dentures, by all means take the skins off. And if you're going to do this in advance, make sure you put some lemon juice with your apples, that way they won't oxidize and turn brown. You can see I started with the 2 small apples. I'm peeling these. You can see the slight discoloration. That's the oxidation that happens. I don't have any lemons, oranges, or lime in this case, so it's not going to make much difference. We're going to put them in the pan pretty quickly. Now, under my cutting board, I have a washcloth. It's a damp washcloth. That keeps your cutting board from sliding all over the place while you're cutting, so you won't risk cutting yourself. So with my apples, I hope you can see, I'm just going to take a chef knife here and cut the ends off. Cut it in half. I don't have a corer, so I'm just going to use a spoon to just work the core out. I found that it's a little safer than using a knife. Looks don't really count because it's all going to cook down. And watch for flying apple pieces. Piece of cake. Oops, there we go. So I'm going to slice these up. Not too thick, not too thin. I want a little bit to chew on when the dish is done. I'm going to go ahead and finish these. I'm going to put them in the pan because my pork chops are just about brown. Here are my brown pork chops. I just moved them aside. In the same pan, this is another one-pan wonder. I'm just going to pour in the mixture of the applesauce and the brown sugar, and the cinnamon. Oh, it smells so good. Now, if I can find my tongs, just give them a mix. Get them in there, get them coated. Turn them over. The one side's not as brown, that's fine, don't worry about it. And now, we're just going to take our apples, I'm going to pile them in. I'm trying to hold a camera and cook at the same time. It's rather difficult, but we're managing. Now I'm going to put a little bit of seasonings. I'm just going to put some parsley in there for now. Maybe a little thyme. Yeah, parsley and thyme sprinkled in there so it looks pretty. Mix it around. Oops, sorry about that. And I'm going to cover this and let it simmer for about half an hour. Just leave the lid up just a little bit. You can see it here with the thyme and the parsley, a teaspoon of each. This kind of pork loves garlic, like caramelized garlic. I would have started that in the pan, but I'm cooking for someone who doesn't eat garlic, so you know, I kind of have to be careful there. But if it's your taste, by all means, put it in. Saute it, you know, as you're browning your pork chops, or use a little bit of powder, the garlic powder, in with the applesauce. That would work perfectly. I'm going to cover this up, because the pork chops are not cooked all the way through, they're just ground. I'm going to leave that for about 15-20 minutes. I'll check on it in 15 minutes. And before I forget, this is about where my flame is. I'm looking at about, not quite low, but not quite a medium, you know, medium-low. And with the lid on, the steam will help cook the pork through and keep it tender. For slicing your apples, I recommend one of these. It's just a slicer. I know it as a mandolin. You can slice your apples very thin. You can slice them thicker. You can dice them. You can waffle cut them. It has an adjustment handle right here that also controls how high the blade sits. Well, the blade is stationary. It controls this part, which goes up and down, depending on how thick you want your slices to be. As it rotates, the little spines, teeth will stick up that will help you to dice. You put your food right on the spikes here, and then you slide it through, and you get beautiful, even slices. I just used a knife tonight. If I were making a dish for, you know, if I had more family here coming over, I would have done that. But this is a great gadget to have. The blade is very sharp. If you do get one, be extra careful. In about 15 minutes, have a little bit more cooking to go. Make sure the pork's cooked through, maybe another 5 minutes or so. And I'm putting in half a cup of golden raisins. Use any raisin you have, or heck, any dried fruit, and it'll be delicious. A little bit more time, and we're going to be ready to eat. Can't wait. About 10 more minutes, I think, and the dish will be done. Now, if you're using a dried fruit like a dried apricot, you're going to want to put that in a bit sooner, probably as you start to simmer the dish, because it'll take a while for that to break down. But I've done this dish with prunes, figs, sun-dried tomatoes, raisins, currants. There's a lot you can do with it. I love cooking with dried fruits. I don't always like to eat them, but they're healthy. I cook with them. Why not, right? I got someone setting the table for me now. Gotta delegate. So I hope you enjoyed cooking with me today. I hope you try the dish, and if you do, let me know how it goes or what variations you did. And keep cooking, everybody. Thanks for joining me.